So here we are, the heart of downtown Portlaoise. And for me, a Kildare man, bedecked in my Kildare jersey, this is enemy territory. This Saturday evening at 7 in O'Moore Park, the two teams meet in round 2 of the qualifiers. The last championship encounter, just to dig out the stats here, guys, it was 2 years ago, Leinster semi-final. The outcome, anybody care to tell me what the outcome was? 2-18 to Kildare, Laois, 9 points. They met in the league on March 13th. Last, Jack Nolan, you might know the outcome of that.
We happened with a full team. We lost by a couple of points.
Yeah, well, actually 1 point. Well, a single point margin, I think.
We scored an OG. Actually, Will, just have to remind me now, you still owe me €20 from a previous time when we beat you. We didn't renew the bet again, so that €20 is still standing there if you wish to renew it on Saturday evening.
Okay. Double or quits?
You owe me 20.
Double or quits. You're not that confident then, Jack.
Can't refuse that one. Doubles or quits, of course, yeah.
Well, sparks always fly when these two teams get together. So we have Padraig Clancy, who plays at midfield for the O'Moore men. He sells cars, by the way, at Joe Mallon Motors, kind sponsors of our GAA coverage here on Midlands 103. Peter O'Leary is with us as well. A bank worker by day, but we won't hold that against him in the times that we're in. Tom Prendergast, of course, no stranger to a Laois jersey. So I'm outnumbered, and I'd better be nice. So, Padraig, how are you going to do the impossible on Saturday evening?
Everyone is up for the game. It's going to be it'll be tight enough, I think, anyway. But we're all up for it. Everyone's up for training hard, so really looking forward to it.
What are you worried about?
Not really worried about anything. Just want to get our own game up and going. Not worried about what they have to bring to the table. They're after doing well for the last couple of years, and I suppose Kieran has brought them on to a different level there as well. But no, we're up for it, you know.
Dublin has been a bit of a pain in the you-know-where for both teams now. How do you read Dublin, and how far will they go this year?
They're playing Leinster final. I think they'll win the Leinster final on Sunday. Pat Kildare, he's done a very good job with them. He's been very well drilled, the way they play. They're very defensive, but they've 3 good lads up in the full forward line. The 2 Brogans are really the catalyst of their full forward line, and are getting plenty of scores. They'll be a hard team to beat. The way they're playing with the crowd that they have behind them, they'll be a hard team to beat. Definitely all Ireland semi-finals. How far they go with Cork and Kerry. Kerry seem to come again, but I don't know, they'll be up there semi-finals anyway.
Peter, what do you make of this Kildare team?
They've, over the 4 or 5 years that Kieran's been in charge, they've seemed to have improved every year. Got to a semi-final. They haven't been able to push on in Leinster. I suppose that's probably because of Dublin's dominance. And I know we played them 2 years ago, and the outcome wasn't the way we wanted. But 2 years on, I think we've improved an awful lot. I think they're there for us to take if we improve from the last day again.
What's your own situation now?
Hamstring injury, out for a week, 2 weeks maybe. Hopefully we'll be back for the next day.
Back the next time then. Good to hear.
Back the week after.
What is it about when Laois and Kildare get together? And I speak now as somebody who once upon a time, not that I'm from Athy, but I went to Athy and perched up on the bridge and took great pleasure seeing cars passing to Ballyline and dejected faces. And often it's been the other way around as well. What is it between Laois and Kildare that makes sparks fly, Tom?
Well, I suppose we've 2 borders with Kildare down Ballyline and way and up Monastravan, Ballybritis. There's a great rivalry there. It's going back long before I played football for Laois. It's going back 60, 70, 80 years. And Laois people, Kildare people, they mix very well socially, and there's always great banter, great crack. A lot of Laois people work up around Kildare, and over the years that you have that rivalry crack. Football is always it's very big in Kildare. They love their football up there, in fairness, and to take it very seriously. There's nothing better for a Laois man after a Laois Kildare game that if we can beat them, and you get the bragging rights for the rest of the year, no matter what happens afterwards.
And there's special bragging rights too. Declan O'Loughlin is with us again, and you were just bursting to get the microphone a few minutes ago, and you wanted to ask Tom a few questions, so it's all over to you now.
Well, no, I'd just like to say that Tom was one of Laois's best ever footballers. You'd agree with that, Jack? And he was he was honoured with an All-Star in '77, and in a game with Portlaoise against Cooley Kickham's, is that correct, Tom? He was sent off and the All-Star was taken off him, but he eventually went to New York anyhow, and he played in New York in a game, an exhibition game where Mick O'Dwyer played in the same game, isn't that correct? And Mick was telling me, boy, geez, that man is flying. Tom Prendergast scored 5 goals that day in Gaelic Park, so he has other stories from New York as well, but they're in the background. But let me say one thing about Kildare supporters. In 2003, when we were coming home after beating Kildare in the Leinster, and Padraig and the lads will vouch for this, that Kildare came out on the streets and clapped us through on the bus that night, and it's something I will always remember, and I'm sure Padraig will admit that it would make the hair stand on your head to see them coming out and applauding us through Munstreven and any town we went through.
I remember a friend of mine from Laois in 1998 took great pleasure in the outcome of the All-Ireland final. It doesn't always go so well.
He wouldn't be a friend of ours.
Tom, have you any stories about Declan as a matter of interest?
No, not for tele or for radio.
Jack, how do you assess the game on Saturday?
I suppose the great thing about Declan says about 2003 that the motorway was there, but we didn't come home on the motorway. We came through the some overbridge in Kildare.
I'll bet you did.
But the crowds did come out. It's a real tough one, but I suppose if you were looking for a draw the last day after after beating Tipperary and upping the game from the defeat against Dublin, if you were looking for a real good draw to rise the team, you couldn't get better than Kildare, because the rivalry, I think, is unique. You ought to have a rivalry with Cork and Kerry. We've a rivalry with Offaly, we've a rivalry with Carlow, but I think the one with Kildare is special. Sometimes maybe it goes a little bit over on the borders in Barra House and Ballylina. Could be a little bit bitter maybe sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's a real GA rivalry. And for someone to rise to the occasion, Kildare are going well. Ireland semi-finalists last year, really up there. McGeady has brought them to the top, almost. Everyone says they're the 4th best team in Ireland. So unlucky to lose to Dublin the last day with that last-minute free. And if you wanted to judge where you are now, Justin McNulty has come in this year. He's done wonderful work with the lads. He changed their style of play completely, from an attacking type of play to a defensive and then attacking. Got him promotion to Division 1, which is brilliant. Got to a league final. And then maybe didn't perform too well in that league final or against Dublin or Longford. But I think the performance against Tipperary has shown that they're a much better team than they showed in those games. And I think you'll see on Saturday evening a much better team again. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for Laois, and I really do believe that Laois can beat Kildare.
And you're happy enough with these two here, for instance, discipline and dedication and so on?
Oh, I mean, sure, you couldn't get better than Padraig Clancy. I mean, he's the veteran of the side now probably, and the enthusiasm that he has and the leadership that he gives on the field. As long as Peter is there, Peter's in the middle bracket in that one. Unfortunately, he ruled out for tomorrow night with an injury. But you did notice he said confidently that he'll be back for the next day. Now, there's no next day for the losers, so Peter will be back for the next day.
So the scoreline then, Peter, if you were to predict it for Saturday?
1 point win will do me. I don't
1
mind.
point win is all that you need, indeed.
That's all that matters. A win. A win at all costs.
Clancy will be greedier. Will you, Padraig?
As regards predicting scorelines, every player's looking forward to Saturday. Like, from a Laois point of view, we've all our work done. And as the boys have said, Kieran's brought Kildare onto a very good level, top 4 team. We're striving to get up to where they are at the minute, but we won't be daunted by them coming down to Portlaoise. The team is well up for it, So as regards to scoreline, I'll take what Peter says. If we can win by pining it out together, I'd be happy out,
Tom?
Yeah, I think with the home advantage and we'll have a good support, I think we have a great chance. And things, we need things to go really well, because in fairness to Kildare, they are a very, very good team, and they might be just under a notch or so under Dublin, but I think with home advantage and the way we played against Tipperary, I think we can on the day beat Kildare. So point will do.
Well, I'm here in O'Loughlin's Hotel, downtown Portlaoise, Laois stronghold. There's loads of men, big men, looking at me. I'm here in my Kildare jersey. I'm not going to disagree with you. I wouldn't dare. Guys, thank you so much for coming down and being with us this morning.